Well, let's get this thing started off. What's going on, rubber shoes?
Not much. It's a good bad day for me. As you see, I got my Cincinnati Reds Pete Rose jersey on. That he was the commissioner of baseball allowed him and Shoeless Joe Jackson and some others that are deceased play ex players off of the banned list, and now they are eligible to be voted into the Hall of Fame.
Still don't think they'll make it, but I see the point of it, and I think a lot of it was I think they baseball got a lot of pressure from the president, right? That was one of the big things
That's
that I
what
heard.
I heard. I haven't read or heard anything other than when they made the announcement, they uh on the radio they said that they thought there was pressure from the president. So I haven't heard anything about it other than that.
So did you have to go in the closet and find that
Oh, it was right there. I just wore this like a couple weeks ago. So there's
you're
a thing. It's so a military thing with red shirts on Friday. So there's a thing called RED Red, remember everyone deployed. So on Fridays, like in Massachusetts, I don't know how it is down in South Carolina. A lot of fire departments will wear red shirts on Friday to support the troops.
hmm.
And so I do it. I got AAA work trucks to do it. Most people wear red shirts on Fridays at AAA work trucks for the same reason. So I'll wear this into work on a occasional Friday.
Oh, okay. All right. So what else so you're happy about that. What are you not so happy about?
So, well, the Tatum. That's So I don't know if you've heard that he had surgery, successful
Yeah.
surgery today, and they still haven't come out with a timeline. But if you look back to when Kevin Durant had the same injury, he was out about 18 months, but it was in the COVID time, so that may have had a reason why it was maybe a little longer. But we're looking at least 9 to 12 months that he's gonna be out before he can play basketball again.
Yeah, I don't so next year
Maybe
is that
they bring him back for the playoffs. Maybe, I don't
I
know.
doubt.
Why would
I
you
doubt.
risk it?
Yeah. Yeah, we won't see him until 26, 27.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, which is unfortunate. I saw it. I was like, "Oh." I thought initially he got hit in the head or something like that, but that when he started grabbing at his ankle,
Yeah.
I've been sick to my
And if
stomach all
Yeah,
since
at
then.
first we didn't really see what happened, and then when they showed the replay again, like, okay, he didn't twist his ankle. So and then the more you think about it, you're like, oh man, non-contact injury, not usually a good thing. And yep, he ruptured Achilles. So um bad
Yeah. But do you
bad
think they
time
can
in
still
a bunch of ways.
you think they can still win the series?
No, I think they could possibly win tomorrow night with or because we're not doing this live tonight. So Wednesday night, I think that they can win. Do one for Tatum type thing, but I don't think they have enough to, especially where Porzingis is a shell of himself. If he was healthy, if Porzingis was 100%, I could be like, yeah, they can still do it, even though they're down 3-1, which is stupid that they're down 3-1 in the first place.
Yeah, they took him for granted, I think.
Yeah, it to let them come back 2 games in a row the same way, up 20 plus, and it's like so I was down in your neck of the woods. I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina last week. So we watched game 1 and 2 in the hotel down
You're,
at the
you're
beach.
probably
And
you're probably screaming at the hotel.
oh, and we were so the first game, my son watched the whole game, and then the second game, he's like, I can't be I'm nervous watching this game because of what happened in the first game. And sure enough, it happened. He could barely watch the second game, and then we got back home for game 3. We're here. He stayed in his room the whole game. He couldn't watch it at all. He finally came out, I think, with probably like 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter where it was like, okay, I don't think they're gonna blow it at this point.
right? Oh, just sick to my stomach that they're down, this
Yeah,
bad and now not have Tatum. And the look on his face, you knew something was bad because he normally bounces right back up.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, the last time he was down, Missoula had to yell at him to get up.
yeah. I think they still have enough horses to to at least get it to seven. Can they win in seven? It's gonna be tough
I mean,
without Tatum.
they still have, in my mind, the better team. Like they may have the best player in the series now with Tatum gone. Brunson is the best player, I think. But we have two, three, four, maybe five. We have the next four players that are better. So it surprise. It's just it's hard to win three straight, especially the way they've been blowing it the the three games they lost.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure. I'm sure Timmy and Scotty and even Adam were probably sick to their stomach too when they saw that
yeah,
happen.
well, Scotty's going through this right now. He just blew his Achilles out a
Yeah.
few months ago.
I remember that. That's the I I never had an injury, not even close to that. I've broken a bone in my arm. That was on my wrist. That's basically it. That's my injury history. I don't even think I've even pulled the no. I've never pulled a hamstring. Nothing.
Lucky, you're lucky.
So
I
so if you look at the Celtics on the surface, what do you if let's say they whether they win this series or not win this series, they were going to blow this up at some point this summer anyway. They can't keep everybody and have a
Yeah,
$1 billion
right.
luxury tax.
So I thought before this happened, thought maybe if they won it, 1, 2 in a row, go for the three-peat, the owners might be willing to pay a little more going into next year, but I still didn't think everyone was coming back. Now I think so. Horford's a free agent. I think he's gone. There's no reason for him to come back next year. It's like you would come back to possibly win a third in a row, but not and they're not going
Okay.
to sign him because Tatum's not coming back for two more seasons. So why would they hold it? He's going to be 41 at that point, um, or 40. I can't remember if he's 38 or 39. But yeah, right now unless they make a trade, which it's also been floated out as like them trading Brown to
Yeah.
like really like maybe you know trade it for Dallas's number one and take Cooper Flag since you got a couple seasons before Tatum gets back and start rebuilding. And I listened to some they had a draft expert on, and he said next year's draft is gonna be deep. Like it's like 7, 8 really good prospects deep next year. The top 7 or 8 players should be really good next year. So that if they have a one setback year, be in the lottery next year, get a good pick, and then Tatum comes back and you start rebuilding around the stuff. Then I could see that, and then they reset their cap so they don't get hit with the luxury taxes. The different levels that or aprons they're calling it.
Yeah. I think Drew and Porzingis are definitely gone after this year,
Yeah,
and we thought they were after unless they won.
yeah,
Um, if they didn't win, then it was. I mean, you can't just keep your starting lineup can't all make $30 million a year.
right. Yeah,
Um,
I I feel Porzingis, Holiday, Hauser, and Horford are probably gone.
even Hauser, you think, huh?
Yeah, because I so this is what my thinking. I think Pritchard can fill in to Holiday's spot.
Yeah.
Uh, Baylor, Shining, what
Yeah,
forget.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he can take over for Hauser's spot. They got to fill in other people, but I think those two people can step up to those spots where you're not losing a lot from those players, but you still got to fill. Pritchard played a pretty big role, all season and in the playoffs. So you're losing a little there. So you got to figure out. And Davidson is pretty good. I know you've been to some of the main Celtics, right?
He's
Games.
he's pretty
Yeah.
good, but he's still really short, and
Yeah.
I think defenses, especially come, really important games, can shut him down pretty good. He does really good in the development league. I think, that's all fine and good. Pritchard can be that height, but I mean, he's got mad dribbling skills,
Yeah.
right? Um, so I think in order for them to go further in this series, push it to 7 games, White and Drew and Al all have to play out of their minds. And I don't
Yeah.
know. Drew's hurt somehow because he's like he doesn't move around very well. He's Brunson's got him, you know,
Yeah.
making him look old. Um, it's just too bad. Trading JB for Cooper Flag. I mean, that kid would probably love being, staying in New England, right?
Yeah.
But
How did that happen anyway? Like if you think about conspiracy theories,
oh yeah.
the so my son was showing me, all these different teams, I think started back when San Antonio got Duncan. Like every time,
Oh, it started back way before Patrick Ewing. They were
yeah.
doing it.
And
That's how they said Patrick Ewing got to the Knicks.
oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like very fishy where, when Cleveland got Kyrie, um, there's a lot of like it's it's so funny on the Instagram and TikTok and stuff. They show the commissioner on the phone. It's like, yeah, so if you trade Luca to LA, we'll make sure that you get the first pick.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard not to think that it's rigged.
not. I mean, as bad as that trade and lopsided it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So they would have to package something pretty substantial to get that number one pick. You don't, they can't. Well, they could probably just do JB right up straight, right? But
See, I don't know all the NBA is a little different where you got to
you got to
match
match salaries,
salaries to a certain percentage.
but not. I don't think not with draft picks. I don't know. I'd have to look into that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Then you got to. I mean, Tatum and Jalen are that. I mean, they're pretty tight. You break them up, and you're making Tatum mad. Even though
Right.
as much as he likes Cooper Flag, right? He gushed over Cooper Flag.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting off season, and unfortunately, I think it starts going to be starting really soon.
What do they play on Saturday?
Tomorrow night,
Oh, Friday night. Thursday night. Oh, Wednesday.
Wednesday
Wednesday.
night.
What day is this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we
How,
got
how far are you from Myrtle Beach?
4 hours.
4 hours. Okay.
I'm 3.5 hours from Hilton Head, and 2.5 hours, 3 hours from um uh Columbia. No, I'm an hour and a half from Columbia. 3 or 4 hours from Charleston.
How far from Atlanta?
Hour and 40 minutes.
Oh, so you can
Charlotte's an
go
hour
there
and
for
30
some
minutes.
games. That's not bad.
Yeah, we have tickets. The company I work for, we have tickets to the Braves.
Oh, nice.
I think we got a box or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's so we went to the Pittsburgh game and then I was trying to I thought about going to Atlanta for a game. It was about 5 hours from Myrtle Beach. And then we thought about going to a Nationals game on the way back, but that would have been we would have had to leave a day earlier than what we did. So we're like, we'll just relax. It was a lot of driving. I drove 35 hours between the
yeah,
going down and coming back. But it was
yeah,
worth it. It was you Office fan, the show
yeah,
The Office. Yeah, so we
yeah.
stopped in Scranton. We went
Oh,
to
did you?
Scranton and then we went to Pittsburgh and then Pittsburgh to Myrtle Beach. Then on the way home, we just went straight home.
Wow. That's a lot of driving, bro.
Yeah, but it's I would you know I prefer to drive and have my own car where I'm at, and it's nice when you can stop. Like on the way down, we stopped and went different places. If we had maybe another day, then but the thing was there was nothing. So the Washington Nationals were playing Wednesday, and then they were on the road, and then also and Baltimore was also on the road. So those are two places we would have probably stopped. I think everyone on the East Coast was out of town
Oh, really?
on our except for so the Red Sox played like a getaway game on Thursday, and then they were out of town. So it was like everyone on the East Coast was out of town, except maybe the Yankees. But I have no desire to go to a Yankees game.
No,
And
you don't have any
Yank
Yankees gear?
no, 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 nope.
All right.
Well, that's yeah, nope. And I just don't want to deal with the fans there.
No, I don't blame you. I have no interest either.
And
So,
so I felt so bad for the Pittsburgh Pirate fans. They're It's been a bad franchise for like 30 years now.
easily, yeah.
Since Bonds and Bonilla left in the early 90s. I think Bonds was there, left in 92 was his last season there. And yeah, they haven't, they've touched, maybe a wild card game here and there, but they've really had no chance of winning it all. And they're so nice down there, and the park is gorgeous, and just like sitting there with no hope. We went on a Saturday afternoon. It was a nice day. It was a Sunday afternoon. What did I say? Saturday. Sunday afternoon, nice day. It was Star Wars Day, so it was like a theme day. They also had like their Little League Day was there, and I mean they're probably 15,000 people, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean we bought tickets the night before, and we could pretty much pick anywhere in the park we wanted to sit.
Really? How much for
Yeah.
tickets?
So I bought the tickets. I got upper level balcony seats, right? Just thinking they were 75 $76 each seat. And I'm like, all right, that's good. It's a lot cheaper than what it would be at Fenway. Like Fenway would probably be 150 for those seats. And then we get there and they were actually club seats. Like we walk into the like they had a bar, billiards tables back there, their own concession stands, own bathrooms back there. I'm like, and then I'm like, well, at Fenway, these would be like the same price as one seat for all three of these. It would have been equivalent.
Yeah.
Would have been like two something for a ticket at Fenway. Oh,
Wow.
it's great. It's I wish Boston could do it the way that they do it. They have the ballpark, and then the football stadium is probably a quarter mile away, and it's like parking and restaurants and bars all in between both stadiums,
Hmm.
and it was so nice. And then the stadium for the arena for hockey is on the other side of the river, like in the downtown area.
Yeah,
So it's
I've
all
driven by
right
it.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the bridges, it's crazy, all painted yellow.
Yeah.
They love their black and yellow there.
Yeah. Oh, they do. Philadelphia is the same way. All their stadiums are right lined up together.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's too bad we can't do that here in Boston.
not enough land,
Yeah,
right?
I know, I know. But some of those stadiums a bit, they knock down stuff to build stuff. I mean, they put in a soccer stadium in the Seaport in Boston for the Revs.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like they could have, if they thought about it the, at the right time, they probably could have all three in that area or close to it. probably about, 15, 20 years ago if they thought about it. Now it's all, yeah, there's no way to do it now.
See, around here, college football is so like engulfed with in everybody's mind. So everybody's talking about college football right now. I'm like, we're not.
Already?
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I saw Mr. Belichick was already in trouble with his new girlfriend.
Oof. Yeah, that it's been a soap opera up here about that stuff on the talk radio. It, I don't know what the hell is going on there. There's so my wife listens to sports talk at her desk all day long, and she said she heard today that there's like odds that Belichick won't make it till week one.
Are you
Like that
serious?
that like they're gonna get rid of him. And I guess there's a buyout. They have a buyout. The school can buy him out for $1 million before June 1st.
Of this year?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like that. Yeah, this girl, she's freaking nuts.
Yeah,
And she's 100% just using him for who he is. And it's like, how does he not see this? And
I don't think he cares.
yeah,
But
I mean, it's if he gets fired, before the season even starts, that's going to be pretty bad on his legacy.
well, yeah, don't forget we have an elimination game tonight, potentially, right? Pacers
Oh,
beat the
yeah, yeah.
Cavs.
Yeah. That's
That's surprising too. I
well,
didn't see that
so
coming.
I don't think you were on the show when back in I think it was probably like in November that my son jumped on because he was
Uh,
saying right from the beginning of the season that the Cavs were a fraud team. Like they're just putting up numbers in the regular season. Come playoff time, they're gonna choke. And sure enough, he's like, well, I didn't think they'd choke this bad.
yeah,
But
that's bad.
The Pacers are a good team. They gave the Celtics a hard time last year. And then, Halliburton, I think, missed two of the games in the series. Had
Yeah,
he not got hurt, that could have won 7 games.
easily. Yeah,
Yeah, they're an effort team. It'll be interesting to see them in the Knicks
yeah,
because
because
they're both,
they went head to head, but the Knicks lost because everyone on the Knicks got injured.
yeah, yeah,
So the report just came in that the Mavs won't trade number one pick, eyeing flag. You think that's just put out there for smoke and mirrors and see what kind of deal they
probably,
can get?
yeah. So people can say, oh, well, it's going to take a little more than just Jalen Brown. Maybe we got to throw in Pritchard or
I don't know, man. I don't know if I blow it up that much. I think your core is Brown and Tatum, right?
right. And you figure that if you don't want to take that big of a dip next year, you have to keep Brown. He can be your number one next year and try and fill in. But I mean, they definitely gonna get rid of some people. Um, it's gonna be this new um, CBA's got you're not gonna be able to keep a team together that long because the longer you keep it together, the more restrictions you have as far as trades and even draft picks after so many years. You can't even get like
Oh yeah, that's right.
a first round draft pick. You can only get supplemental picks. So there this would be possibly a reset that the fans wouldn't get too crazy about because you figure if they don't have Brown and Tatum, you don't think they have a really good chance of making it to the finals without them both. Because that's what we've all said. It's like the only thing that would keep the Celtics from making it back to the finals was health, and Porzingis hasn't been healthy the whole playoffs. Holiday got pulled his hamstring and he hasn't been 100%. Brown's been dealing with the knee since April, so they're not 100% healthy, but they're still good enough, with them all on the team. But now that you take one of them away, and if you're definitely getting rid of some of the parts next year, so it could
This
be
reminds me of the '87 Celtics. Walton didn't even play the whole season, right?
Yeah.
That's KP, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, that was they were saying something about that, about the Celtics always have like this. So that year was Walton in '09. Kate Kendrick Perkins getting hurt
Yeah.
cost them. So they
They
were
would have won.
his.
They would have won that series
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think so go before Tatum got hurt, it looked like it would have been hard pressed for them to get come back from that 9 point deficit with just over 3 minutes left. It would have been tough for them to do it.
I
So
think it would have been tough, but I mean, the first half, Tatum scored 9 points in like
I don't
a
know.
minute, right?
Yeah, yeah. And also, I think if you look at the play that he got hurt on, if he didn't get hurt, he probably would have been able to get the ball before Ananobi. Like they were both going for it at the same time, and then he just dropped after his Achilles popped. I think
Yeah.
I don't think Ananobi would have got the wide open layup that he did, or the dunk. He ended up dunking it, and that put them up 9. So maybe they don't even get down by 9. It's still 7 with just over 3 left. But
They go towards this isolation and just one on
I,
one towards the
and
end of the
even
game.
Tatum was bring they give the ball to him at half court. He just slows it up, and then he jacks up a 3 from almost half court with still 14 seconds left on the play clock. I'm like, what are you doing? It's the thing that makes when they're moving the ball, they're almost unstoppable. They're
Hard to beat.
in flow. And then their shots go down better because they're in a rhythm. When they just do this dribble and try to run the clock down, and then they're forcing up bad shots, that's what always seems to kick them in the ass.
Yep. I was sick of watching that. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what tomorrow night brings. I'd love to see him extend it
Uh,
and get it to 7. Put some
yeah.
Celtics
So
pride behind it.
what another big topic today was Missoula. Do you, how he's I mean, he has an excuse now with Tatum being hurt about losing this series, but they should be up 3 games to 1 themselves instead of down 3 games to 1 in
Oh
both of
yeah.
our minds, I believe, right? So
Hmm.
that's because of his coaching. He just kept being stubborn and like, oh, this is the way we play. We shoot the 3, shoot 3. It's like eventually you gotta try different things instead of just being stubborn and saying this is the way we play. We're gonna live and die this way. You don't have to. So he is definitely on the hot seat, I think, going into the season and seeing. I don't know if they talk to him and say, "Hey, you can't go 100% analytics here. You have to have a feel of the game and go with it and change it up once in a while." And if he
You gotta
stays
remember.
stubborn to it, then
Yeah, you gotta remember too. The players love him.
yeah. But I think, well, half of the players aren't going to be here next year. I don't think so. It'll make it easier.
Yeah. What else haven't we talked about? Oh, football. Anything happening in football?
So they have the rookie camp. I don't know what they're calling it, but the rookies have been in camp. Campbell, I tell you, I hope he makes it. He seems like the nicest guy. And he's gonna try like hell for you. So hopefully he can make it. Their third round draft pick, the wide receiver. Um, I've seen some clips on him. He can catch the ball.
All right. That's a
So he
plus.
looks pretty good. The one question mark is that Trevion Henderson is a no show.
for Cincinnati.
No,
Oh, for the
their running back they took from
oh,
Ohio State.
why isn't he there?
No one, nothing's been said.
That's weird.
They're like, because they're not required to have press conferences right now, so nobody's has to come to the mic. Vrabel doesn't have to talk, so they don't have to say anything to the media right now. So the media has noticed that he's not there, and there hasn't been any statements from the team about why. So that's
I thought you were talking about Trey
oh
Hendrickson.
yeah, he said he's gonna hold out, right? I think
Yeah,
today.
he wants a new
Yeah,
deal.
yeah,
He's not going to play on the current deal.
yeah.
So that was
Um,
another news. We still don't know if Rodgers is going to play this year, right? I haven't heard anything on that guy.
I can't believe Pittsburgh is. The only thing I could think of is that they've come to terms. They know he's going to be their quarterback. He doesn't want to come to these mandatory workouts,
Which he should.
and until they officially sign him, he doesn't get fined for that stuff. So I think right before the actual camp starts in June, or I mean July, when that camp starts, I think he'll officially sign and be there, because it's they're not putting all their hopes into uh, Rudolph, Mason Rudolph. They're not going into the season with that
No.
being their number one quarterback. So I think there's a behind the closed doors handshake deal that will he'll sign officially right before camp, and he could be studying and doing all that stuff just on the down low right now. And
Yeah,
I didn't I think the international games were released today, and the Patriots are not playing in any
nope.
international games. So that's good. That,
They need to win more
yeah,
games before we can
yeah.
put them. What do you think of the Pickens trade?
That was interesting. The um I think Tomlin's just sick of his shit. And plus I don't think DK Metcalf and George Pickens can coexist.
No?
There is so one thing that one of the shows had talked about is that they play the exact same position. Like they're the same receiver. So that would be tough. I'm sure one of them would have to switch up what they're used to doing.
Right.
And Metcalf is kind of a head case too. So I could see um that being a problem at some point where, if Pickens is getting all the catches and Metcalf isn't, then he's going to make a stink and vice versa. So Tomlin was probably like, you know what? Let's get rid of the headache before it starts.
If you had to rate that or grade that trade, what would you give Dallas?
What did they give up? Just a draft pick to like a
I think
third
it was
round or
I
fourth
think it was just
round?
a third round, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
They sent a 2026 third round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick to Pittsburgh for Pickens and a 27 sixth round pick.
yeah. So I think that's a good pickup for them. They need
So,
help. Although, I mean, I don't know if CD Lamb plays the same, whatever, the X receiver or whatever, but um,
yeah.
he's going to be in the same type of situation there with two really good receivers that and only one ball.
You think Sador Sanders makes the team?
I think so. I'd really like to find out what happened there. There's definitely collusion. I think with the owners, like, okay, nobody's taking them before the fifth round. After after the fourth round, anyone can take them, but nobody takes them before that. Because
Yeah, I
that,
was for all the draft experts to say, he was going to be a top 10 pick
yeah,
to go all the way down the fifth round. Something had to happen.
yeah,
And
yeah.
according to
I
some of
know he
them,
was.
he had bad interviews.
Yes, he was a pretty much a dick in the interview process. He thought for sure he was going to the Giants, so every time he interviewed with any other team, he was like, "Yeah, I don't even know why I'm here," and it was big attitude, which we'll see. I mean, he has a reason to have a chip on his shoulder. Whether or not he can do it or not, I
You
don't
can
know.
use it.
But
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough when you already have all that money. That's what they're gonna start finding. They're gonna have more trouble with these players coming out of college with the NIL money that they're already gonna have money, millions of dollars. Is if they're, gonna be probably top two or second or third round picks, they're probably making halfway decent money in college. And it's like, oh yeah, I already made money. I don't really it's great that I'm in the NFL, but I already made money. I don't need it.
Right. I mean, I saw somebody talk about the NBA draft has gone down in players substantially. Like 300 used to come out back in the day. Now that there's NIL
Yeah.
money, you're down to like 100.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they only have two rounds, so what's that, 60 something players that are
Yeah.
going to be drafted, and the rest can be picked up as free agents. So it's like, yeah, so if you're making money in college, you might as well stay there and make it. If you're a fringe player, not sure if you're going to make it, would you they're probably making more at their colleges than they would in the G League.
I really thought that Cooper was going to stay one more year at Duke.
Yeah.
Oh, the kind
I
of money
heard
he was
I
making.
heard rumors, but I I mean, so the thing that's been coming out of Maine from his family is that he intends to play his rookie contract and then go to the Celtics. Like
That'd be
his
amazing.
his dream is to play for the Celtics. And so if that is true, then he just wants to get his career started sooner than later so he can get his rookie contract over.
Did you see his face when he saw that Dallas had the number one pick? They shot the camera to his table, and he was just
Yeah.
like, uh,
Oh. But he must be like, well, I'm not going to the worst team in the league, so that's I mean, they're
I think he probably thought he was going to Utah. People are asking for Danny Ainge's head right now because they
yeah.
didn't get the number one pick.
Again.
Yeah,
Well, he wasn't part of the Duncan year. That was Patino.
no, but he was part of the Kevin Durant one.
Yep.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you. Tell you, that's one thing I loved about being down in South Carolina was that you guys are already past the pollen
Oh,
allergy
Paul,
stages. It was nice down there for a week, and then as soon as we got back up here, it's like we start sneezing again.
4 or 5 weeks ago, you wouldn't have been saying that. I had to wash
Yeah,
my car every other day.
yeah, we're getting that right now.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it that bad as when I lived in New England. Here is it's not that bad. I mean, I love the fact when it rains here, it's still 80 degrees.
I know that.
Rains
So
there
we
and it's
lucked
like
out.
40.
We got down there 2 a.m. Monday morning, and it was already, it was like 60 something degrees, which was the high up here. And then, yeah, every day we wake up, it's already, almost 70 degrees, and it was, like
It gets
80.
it gets hotter as the day goes
Yeah.
on.
That first day we were down there, it was humid. We were like, whoa, it was like 80 degrees, but it felt like it was 90.
Yeah. July and August are
That,
the
oh,
worst.
it's a, yeah. So my wife and I are like, okay, how many more years do we have up here? That's one of the reasons we went there is we're trying to figure out where we would like to end up in our retirement years. So we had never been to Myrtle Beach, so that was the first time there. We loved it, so that's definitely on the radar.
Yeah, I put that on our little bucket list too. It was Myrtle Beach. I love the Greenville area, but you're not next to much water. You're
Yeah, that
lakes.
we're definitely beach ocean
Yeah,
people. The
yeah, that
only
would be
thing I didn't like, so we lived in Virginia Beach when I was in the Navy, so we lived there for like 4 years. Have you ever been to Virginia Beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know how they have the concrete boardwalk along the beach where that you can walk. So we really like that. They don't have that in Myrtle Beach. So that made me start looking to see what kind of beaches on the East Coast had that type of setup. And there's a place in North Carolina, Carolina Beach, North Carolina. They're supposed
Yeah.
to have a boardwalk like that. So might be going there next year.
I'm just trying it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
South Carolina is definitely cheaper to live in than North
Yeah.
Carolina.
It's and then so most of most of the time we spent closer to the center of where the Ferris wheel is at
Yeah.
Myrtle
Yeah.
Beach. And then one day we drove towards Myrtle Beach and didn't realize how much more stuff there was down that way, and that it was a little less like touristy populated, more homes and stuff. I'm like, oh, it's like we don't have to be where all the tourists are. You could so if it's definitely a possible landing spot.
Yeah. It's a nice area.
Yeah.
Gas was probably cheap on your trip once you got out of New England, huh?
Well, so Pennsylvania was more expensive.
Really?
Yeah, it was probably 30 to 40 cents more than in Massachusetts, in
I
Pennsylvania.
I got gas the other day. I paid 2.39.
Yeah. Once we get so once we stopped for gas in Virginia, it was like 260 around there.
Did you stop into a Bucky's?
No, we were it was on our list of something to do. There's one in Florence, South
Yes.
Carolina,
Yep.
and it is, on the way in and out, but we, when we were getting there, it was, we were driving past Florence, probably it was midnight, and
Oh yeah.
then when we left at 4 o'clock in the morning to leave, so we're like, yeah, we're just getting out of there. But we definitely wanted to stop there. It was on our radar, but didn't make it. Next time.
Bucky's is amazing, bro.
Yeah.
You can't walk out of there without spending $150.
Oh, jeez. Now
It's hard.
that's the only one in South Carolina, right? That
Yeah,
one
that's the
in
only right
Florence.
now. There's a couple more coming. I think they opened up one in another one in Atlanta and Tennessee. I think are the other two.
I know Timmy. I think his road trip he did last summer. I think he stopped at one. It might have been Tennessee.
Oh, probably.
Now the
Yeah.
Red Sox. So this is a strange stat for the Red Sox. So they lost last night. So that's actually I think a good thing that they lost last night. In almost every one of their series since probably mid-April, they'll if they win the first game of the series, they lose the next two. If they lose the first game, they win the next two. And it goes back to like mid-April where
Really.
they like if they won the first game, they'd lost two. And then the next series, whatever they do the first game, they do the opposite the next two games.
Now they are what, a game above 500 right now?
So they lost last night, so I don't know if that put them back at 500. Yeah, they're just hovering at the yep. So one game up, 22 and
Gee,
21.
jeez. And they had a meeting
But they're still
with
right there. They're only 3 games out of first place.
yeah, that's crazy. And they had a meeting with Devers. I wonder how that went.
Yeah, so that oh yeah, that happened since our so that maybe that's so last week was the first week we missed doing a show
Oh,
since
really?
since we started doing it. And then look what happens. Tatum goes down. So we got to make sure do a show every week now.
You're blaming not having the show to
I
Tatum.
I'm a real I know in the chat where Adam's like, "Oh, this seems really easy," and then we got on them because they lost the game. And yes, I believe in jinxes. I believe like I so I got back home Saturday to watch the game. I put my Porzingis jersey on that I watched in the first series. I wore that jersey every game except one. The one game they lost in the first round against Orlando, I was at the fire station.
Uh,
Every other game, I was home and was wearing my Porzingis jersey. So I put the Porzingis jersey on Saturday. They won, and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. I'm back home, but I had it on last night. Didn't work.
yeah, I don't think anything would have worked last night. They were just got caught playing with their food again, and
Yeah, I mean that's so when the Patriots went to the Super Bowl in it was I believe it was the 96 season. The Super Bowl was in 97. So that season, every Sunday, my wife and I would have coffee rolls, the Pillsbury coffee rolls.
yeah.
And you know when you pop the package, like it pops. So if the package didn't pop, the Patriots lost that day.
Oh man.
Like it was working every it's and then also the so when they went to the Super Bowl that year, I had surgery on my shoulder. When they went to the Super Bowl and won against the Rams, I had surgery. What did I have that? Oh no, that year was my shoulder and bicep. When they went in 96, that was my knee. I had operation on my knee, had operation on my shoulder, and then the next time they went to the Super Bowl, I had my wrist. So three surgeries in a row. They went to the Super Bowl. I'm like, I'm not getting hurt anymore, just so they can go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So it was like all this stuff that you I try not to, especially now that I'm on the fire department. It's like I work on Saturday like and Sundays during football season, so I can't get in the habit. I try to switch up my jerseys every week, so I'm not wearing the same thing. So I don't get it in my head that okay, I got to do this every week. I try not to get stuck into one of those patterns, but sometimes I'll be like, oh, I wore this jersey last week. They won. Up, they won again this year. Oh, I guess I got to wear it again next week. I try not to get stuck in patterns like that, but when I do, it's hard for me. Like I've brought jerseys to the fire station with me. Like if there was like a winning streak going on, I would bring it. I wouldn't wear it, but I'd at least have it with me.
You're super
Especially dirt. Oh, I
superstitious.
am. I am. Yep. I know.
So you got a Caitlin and Clark jersey yet?
I do not. No, I will not pay for one myself. If they're gonna gift me one, I will wear it. But
If Caitlin gives you one, you'll wear
or the other heads of the ATB show
it. So the WNBA started, what was it, last night? Was their big night?
talking to the wrong
You
guy.
have no idea.
Yep.
Love it. I love it.
I
Adam's gonna
I
be really
was
disappointed.
interested. I watched the finals when Caitlin Clark was in the NCAA finals. I watched that. I don't think I watched other than I see highlights all the time because ESPN is just forcing it down your throat. So when I'm at the gym in the morning, probably half the highlights I see are are WNBA during the season. Like so it'll start tomorrow that I'll see WNBA highlights every morning. But I don't think I've ever watched a full game of WNBA basketball. I may have had it flipped on at a moment or two, but I've never been like, oh, I got to watch this and sat and watched the whole game. It's just, I am not knocking them for wanting to do it. To have your own league, great. I think they're gonna, if they're really gonna try to fight for more money, they're gonna end up closing that league down because they lose money every year. They're subsidized by the NBA. They they run in the red every year of the league.
Oh
And the
yeah.
only reason why that they're still alive is because of the WNBA. And if they're going to try and hold out on their collective bargaining agreement to try and get more money, then they'll be like, oh, yeah, nope. That could kill the league right then and there. I know they're getting um more advertising, like more people are signing on for stuff. I know there was well, they've had sports cards, tops, but there's been a basic I know Adam and Timmy, they love all these other players and stuff, but there's no one on Caitlin Clark's level. Like they have so um my son and I both collect sports cards,
Mm-hmm.
and so I get stuff in my Instagram all the time, and they like the Caitlin Clark stuff is worth money. Like people will buy that stuff. There isn't anyone else in the league that even comes close to what she's getting in the market for like sports cards or memorabilia.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's no one even close. And that was my argument with Timmy and Adam. I know Timmy just kind of trolls me, but Adam's serious. And it's Caitlin Clark does stuff that, you know, is like Steph Curry. Like it's exciting to watch. Like she's doing stuff that most people can't just do in their own gym. The rest of the players, they're shooting at the 3-point line. I can do that. I can dribble in and take a layup. They're not flashy. They're not dunking. It when you watch the NBA, it's like you're in awe because it's stuff that you can't do at the YMCA.
Right.
The and I'm not taking anything away from them. Like I go get what you can get, but I'm not gonna watch. It's not exciting to me.
Well, I think we've covered everything today. Got through the whole gamut.
Yes. And we made sure we got another episode in. That's it. No more no episodes. Well, that's if Corey and I gotta stay up till midnight to get a show in, we'll do it.
I'm in. I'm in.
Okay.
This was a lot of fun. I think it's just a somber mood right now just because of Tatum. I've been like this all day, like
Yeah,
just like
that's
blah.
it's just thinking like we're probably not gonna have a decent playoff run for a couple seasons. Hopefully.
Easily.
Hopefully it's only a couple.
It will be interesting to see if they package something to get Cooper Flag earlier. Um, but I don't know. I just
I think
I really like the Tatum and JB show, right?
yeah, but they have like a built-in excuse to try something this off season because you're not having Tatum next year. There's pretty good chance you're not going to be good enough to win it all. And to like do a real hard reset, I think the fans they won't get too upset about it. I wouldn't if I could see the big picture, like you don't have Tatum next year, but you're trying to build for when he comes back. I could be down with that. I could definitely, we just won last year. So it's not like, oh, we haven't won in 80 years and, now this is going to cost us another 10 years. We just won, and if they can fix it and make it where we could possibly win 2 or 3 more in the next 5 years, I'm good with a blow up season to
Yeah, I don't want to be
reset.
like I don't want to be like Denver or Toronto Raptors. Just these one and done.
Yeah.
You know, I I really I wanted to see a back to back
Yeah.
in my lifetime, right?
But
Just
this is the fifth fifth or sixth season in a row that the defending champ doesn't make it out of the second round. If they lose, which it looks like they're gonna lose, but that the defending champ didn't make it out of the second round like 6 seasons in a row now. The last time was that they did is when Golden State won back to back. That's the last time a champion got out of the second
really.
round the next year. Yep.
And Tatum was on one on Monday too. 42 points,
Yeah.
man. He was just cooking.
I mean, I don't
Uh,
think any of it had anything to do with what happened this year because I think they had little things happen here and there that had nothing to do with it. But with them winning it last year and then, you know, three guys going to the Olympics,
Olympics.
there wasn't a lot of time off. I thought it was going to be hard for them to run it back, but they started out so good. I'm like, oh, maybe they can do it, but yeah, it's a shame. I think healthy, they would have definitely made it to the finals. And I tell you, we don't get to see a lot of West Coast games. Like I don't stay up that late to watch. So you just see the stats and you're like, oh, okay, see, they're the best team in the league and stuff. Watching the series against Denver, they have
They got
SGA and they don't really have a number two or a three.
they got
Like
some holes, but
yeah, they drop off quite a bit from Alexander.
they have a killer defense of scheme, and they have some players that can make some noise if they're hitting shots. But Denver is just really big and lanky too,
Yeah.
so
I mean, the
that's going to be
playoffs
hard.
is a different animal, and experience definitely plays a part. So that was another reason why I didn't think case I wasn't thinking they would make it to the finals this year. I thought Denver being a experienced team, they would have trouble with them, but I mean, so if they do win, it's what Minnesota. Who knows in that series, Minnesota and OKC.
Mm.
That's a coin flip, I think.
All right, so what are we doing next week? Same time?
Uh, I Timmy said he was only available one day next week. I think it was I think it was Tuesday because I'm at the fire station to oh no, I'm at the fire station Monday. So I have to look through the text again. I forget, we send one text out to ask a question and then we get 50 off topic. So to try and track it down again.
Right.
We'll be back next week. Some way we'll figure it out and we'll get it to work.
All right. Well, we're gonna put a pin in this one. This was
Yep.
a somber episode, but
The Corey and Corey show.
it's Corey and Corey show. That's right. Uh, it was for Timmy, who is what, they in Texas this
Yeah.
week.
Yep.
Adam still in the hair and makeup, and so is Scotty. So uh, for Corey and Corey, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.